That's great. Ready?
And go.
And a good spiritual morning to you once again. I'm Father Cosmas. Thanks for joining me today for a quick chat. And of course, our morning cup of coffee. And once again, I am joined by my better half, Prez Michelle.
Good morning, everybody. It's very nice to be back.
And we're having fun today.
We are having fun today.
Because from time to time, we like to watch movies together. And every once in a while, you'll talk me into watching what appears to be a horrible movie, but I'll watch it.
Good wives do that.
And good husbands will watch horrible movies with their wives. And so we watched a rom-com recently, a new rom-com on Netflix.
Yep.
And we watched it because it looked like it had some Greek sort of flavor to it. It took place in Cyprus, right? And so we watched it. What was it called? Find Me Falling.
Find Me Falling.
Find Me Falling.
And as any wonderful woman born in the 70s, when you see Harry Connick Jr. and you remember when Harry met Sally and all of his beautiful voice, you're going to watch it. And you're going to make your husband watch it.
The voice of romantic comedy.
That's right.
For a whole generation.
That's right.
Doesn't matter that he can't act. He can sing. Okay, we'll get into that. Yeah. We'll get into that. Because, I didn't dislike the movie. I thought it was cute. Yeah. I thought it was fun.
Short.
It was pretty short.
Yeah.
So we're just sort of talking about it. Again, Find Me Falling, Harry Connick Jr. on Netflix. It takes place on Cyprus. A lot of, for those of us that are Greek or of Greek descent, a lot of the movie was subtitled because they were speaking in Greek. And it was in Greece. A lot of funny inside sort of Greek jokes. And well done. So general impressions. Do you want me to go first? Do you want to go first? What do you want to do?
Yeah. What's the guy's point of view? What's the old man's point of view?
That's super offensive, but let's put a pin in that. Put a pin in that for a second. So my first complaint, again, I thought generally it was good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was cute. Couple of complaints or things that I would have liked to have seen. Number one, I'm saying who's in the movie, and I'm saying Harry Connick Jr.
That's it.
And that's it. Okay,
it's nice to have new actors.
It is.
They weren't bad. They did a pretty good job.
Good. They were good supporting actors. Yeah. Here's the thing. It's Harry Connick Jr. So he can pull off a leading man. I think he did a good job. The thing is, it's Netflix. Netflix, you have so much money, you don't know what to do with it. You couldn't afford one other actor to put in the movie with him whose name we know, so that there was somebody else in the movie. And so that was one thing. The cast, the supporting cast, there's nobody else in the movie that you're going to know. It's a little weak. So that was one complaint.
Okay.
There should have been a leading lady opposite him. If you want to promote the movie, to say, oh, wow, it's Harry Connick Jr. and anybody else.
True.
There was nobody else in the movie that you recognize. So
but it's hard to pull off an accent, let's be honest. He wasn't trying to pull off an accent. He was from the States.
Okay.
The actors that were in it, I don't know if they were actually Greek, but they really did seem to be Greek enough to play their parts.
They spoke in Greek. I will have to say this.
Yeah.
As someone that does speak Greek, now I'm not fluent by any means, but I can speak Greek and I understand Greek. They spoke Greek. The Greek was a little bit garbled and mumbled and so quick that I had to look at the subtitles to really sort of see, wait, that's how they're translating that? That was a little bit, okay. But it would have been nice to sort of say somebody in the daughter.
Yeah, she didn't have an accent.
She didn't have an accent. She spoke some Greek.
Oh, you just gave away something in the movie.
Oh, I did. Yeah. Well, I didn't say no spoilers.
That's right. No spoilers.
This isn't going to win an Academy Award. Right. So if you haven't seen it, and okay, so that brings me, thank you for a great segue.
Okay.
To my second complaint. True or not true, true or false, was I not calling everything happening? Okay, and this is a horrible husband thing. We're sitting on the couch walking it, and I'm leaning over and saying, this is what's coming, right?
He does it to me all the time.
It was so predictable. Yeah. The entire story was so predictable. Yes. It's like you knew I was sort of like in the writer's room. Oh, this is where they're going. Oh, this is what they're doing.
But let's be honest. In this day and age, the world's a little cuckoo bananas. I'll give that to you. And it's nice to watch something that is relaxing, is not upsetting, is not... And let's move forward and go to the Orthodox point of view. There were a couple of things that really made me very happy about what they did. You're going to have a little bit of that unfortunate stuff that's very worldly right now, but tell them about the coffee scene.
Like people sleeping together and not sleeping together.
Yeah, and not married yet. But tell them about the coffee scene. That was really sweet.
It was. Why don't we do this? Why don't you cover the Orthodox stuff or cover the sort of takeaway that you like?
Okay.
I'll cover a takeaway that I didn't like.
Okay, so what I liked was there is an issue in the movie, and I thought that they covered it in a very sweet way of people helping other people not thinking about themselves, or people who are self-absorbed going out of themselves to help others. And by helping others, they become healthier themselves.
Right.
That was a huge thing that I liked.
Absolutely. That's a huge takeaway.
And
So for us
then,
in the spiritual life,
yes,
there's that sort of thing where if you're feeling negative emotion,
Yeah.
if you're feeling anxious and you're feeling depressed, one of the first things a therapist will tell you is stop thinking about yourself so much. You're so in your head and you're so
Yeah.
narcissistic and egocentric and focusing on yourself so much. Get out of your head
Yeah.
and start thinking about other people and helping other people. It's not going to magically solve all your problems, but it will help.
Yeah,
And by
it
the
does
way,
help.
it's what Christians are supposed to do anyway. So
Yes.
that I agree
That
with
was my first
100%.
thing. And then the second thing is, unfortunately, we were both very disappointed. I don't even think you watched My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2,
I
3,
didn't.
but I
didn't.
did. And I was really disappointed with the cremation.
I
We
didn't
don't have to
watch.
get into
I'm
that.
sorry, I didn't watch 2 or 3.
Okay.
I had enough of them.
So what happens is they do a movie, it's in Greece, and a lot of us love Greece, and they do something that the people are supposed to be Orthodox, and they do non-Orthodox things that really are blatantly. So something very sweet that I had friends who grew up doing this is they want to read the coffee grounds or the tea leaves.
Right.
And so there's a part where they ask Yaya to look at the coffee cup.
The grandmother.
And she looks at it and she does not comment on what they wanted her to comment on. And in the end, the daughter says, "Mom, what did you really see in the coffee cup?" And she said, "Nothing. What are you looking for answers in a coffee cup for?"
Right.
And I thought that was very nice.
So the sort of superstition
yeah.
thing where you finish the tea or the coffee and then you turn the cup over
Yeah.
and it drips down and then you turn it back over and you see where it drips and you can predict the future, other
Yeah.
stupid things.
Not Orthodox.
Yeah, not Orthodox, not cultural superstition.
Yeah. So I was glad that they did not feed into that.
Right. Absolutely. One of the things, and this is, I'm maybe being a little sensitive to it as a dad, because again, I gave away part of the movie that you're seeing a failed relationship. And again, it's also predictable. There's no spoilers. You can see it coming a mile away. It's a guy that has an affair with a girl on the island on Cyprus. He leaves and pursues his career. Of course, she has a baby with him and he never tells him. So he comes back now as he's at a crossroads in his life, finds out he has a daughter. And so from a dad's point of view, I like to have balance and reality in things. It's important to have parents involved in your life. It's important to have, obviously, mothers. It's also important to have fathers. And that was sort of skirted to the side because the girl that he ends up having the affair with and now she's a doctor. Of course, she becomes a doctor, right, by her own. And the girl is this amazingly well-adjusted, talented. So in other words, they didn't need him at all. The fact that he wasn't there and left for 18 or 20 years or however long.
I don't know how long, yeah.
It didn't, it's a blip. Like the dad, it doesn't matter. Single moms, they can raise kids that are amazing and be doctors and be professionals, and the kids. And the dad, if he's there, okay. If he's not there, same thing.
So you would have wished that they would have.
I'm not saying that you wanted to make it a Greek tragedy.
No.
But
Right.
It would be nice to sort of say they completely downplayed the role of a father in a family. And that's, I think, now, kind of a common thing. But we know the statistics of how difficult it is to have a single parent family. It's incredibly important. So one of the takeaways that I had is, like you're talking about, reaching out and helping people, because he ends up doing that. He lives by a cliff where people constantly commit suicide. And he's trying to put up a fence. And by the end, he takes down the fence and he says, to the people that are coming, let's talk. And he's trying to help people. The importance of family and family stability and the importance of parents in the life of children, that I think was unfortunately a little bit unrealistic. It should have been nice to sort of say, hey, it would have been better had he been involved in her life. And of course, usual romantic comedies, the guy is always the one messing up. The girl's always fine. It doesn't matter how unrealistic it is. Somehow,
men don't get a break.
No, somehow she doesn't tell him for all these years that he's got a daughter, and then he ends up apologizing to her. I don't know how women do that. They all manage in every relationship to do that.
Tell us what you really think.
Yeah, well, I am. You're wrong, and somehow I'm wrong, but I'm apologizing. I think guys everywhere can relate to that. It's that was a little bit annoying in the movie, but that's a common, thing in romantic comedies. It's going to happen.
But it was sweet.
It was a
It
cute
was a
movie.
sweet
It was a
movie.
good watch. You can watch it. It's clean. It's funny.
It had
People
a
have
nice ending.
It did, and people have. Well, that's incredibly huge that it ends well,
Yeah.
and people of Greek descent will appreciate seeing Cyprus, hearing Greek, seeing the cultural
the music,
references.
everything.
So a lot of fun, kind of in that way. So we can recommend it.
Yes.
I'm a little grudgingly recommending it, but I can recommend it. She
From the
recommends
girl's
it.
point of view, it's an easy 90 minutes.
There you go.
It's not 3
Wholehearted
hours.
recommendation, and I think it's another fun movie. It's fun to kind of take a break from some of the more serious stuff, watch some things together, review them together, and hopefully we'll be putting more videos out like this as we continue in the future, learning to grow together in Christ and doing that each and every day. Amen.